Okay, Scorpio, I know you already know that I make such a mess. So here's my mess. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's just go right into this devil energy. Let's just take the bull by the horns here. All right. So I know that you know what this is. The thing with this is that there is that dialogue that's very likely going on in your mind that's something like, if I just try harder, or if I only did this, or there could be some desire to modify behavior to be a certain way so that someone thinks of you different. Like, it's so completely inauthentic. It's so completely dispassionate. It's unrequited. And there's a lack of ownership with everything too. Like, I feel like something got a little bit sloppy. And you might be getting a little bit sloppy with your own self-management a little bit. Like, it got a little out of control, right? 5 of Wands, 7 of Swords, 3 of Cups reversed. Like, something got a little out of control. And maybe some mistakes were made, some things were said, slip of the tongue, accidentally did this, accidentally did that. And it's almost as though, like, right when something happened or something was done, you caught yourself and just like zipped the lip. Some of you, this might even be like you caught yourself feeling. You caught yourself like giving in or like whatever. And yet somehow there's something so forbidden about that. This, though, really does need to be the end. I mean, when the death comes out right after the devil, it can be a harsh wake-up call. And sometimes other people can get involved, like someone finds out, or there's multiple people involved in something and everyone kind of gangs up against one person. Like it's not a tower moment per se, but it's like one of those things where you kind of just throw up your hands and you're like, yeah, okay. Like, it really was about time. Like, it's overdue for that particular thing to really happen. It was overdue for that mistake to be made or for that thing to be said. There's no reason to but beat yourself up about anything. Honestly, there's no reason. Because one, you can't take it back and they can't take it back. It doesn't necessarily have to be it was you. Maybe someone else was getting sloppy too. Like, maybe you, hold on, I just saw like a little love story with the Lover's card. I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's someone that really loves you and they got sloppy and started like really opening up, and then they kind of like backtracked a little bit and maybe they ghosted or they, you know, whatever. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's just like we saw a glimpse of something. Like, you showed your true colors, because here you are, you showed your true colors, or someone else showed their true colors, and it was just a glimpse, and it was like out of the darkness into the light and then back into the darkness, like boom. And now the whole story, the whole narrative is like so different, which is why it is time to let it go, because now you know some kind of nugget of truth that's especially relevant in you making decisions moving forward. There's nothing you can do when the death card comes out. This is like a result of you pushing something so hard. This is like what happens when the universe is like, okay, you need to just relax. And I'll, like, you don't have control here. I have control. It's Plutonic, right? So Saturn pushes you, Pluto takes control. And so it's almost like what I call a tidal wave. Like, you never see it coming. There's no way to stop it. It can be really destructive, but it ultimately cleanses, which we know that's your whole thing. It ultimately cleanses, and it's ultimately for the best. So right now, it's just a matter of kind of just sitting back, doing the 8 of Coins thing and redirecting the energy and just letting whatever's supposed to happen, okay? Because I know you don't want to be here in the first place. And it was almost like the words too close for comfort are coming to mind. That might speak to some of you, maybe not all of you, but too close for comfort for some of you. Seven of Swords. It's like the chance that you wanted, right? Here it is. It's the chance you wanted. It's the person you wanted. It's the love you wanted that keeps evading you over and over and over. And the Seven of Cups is a suggestion that there's some confusing things in store. I think Cancer season activity has made it real hard to decipher like how you really feel about things, because it's just all you do is feel. But there's not a lot of intellect involved in like deciphering what that means. It's just feeling. And so you could be having a lot of feelings but not be committed to any of them. And you could actually be up and down, and one day it's like a good feeling, the next day it's like really harsh, and then the next day you have like a little revenge fantasy, and then the next day like you're falling in love with this person, you know, and it's just like kind of all scattered. Which again, the universe likes simplicity. It likes it clean. This is all too messy. That's why I use the word kind of sloppy, because it's all just getting a little out of hand. I love the Eight of Coins because it streamlines, and I love the coins because it's streamlined. It is simple, it is practical, it is mundane, it is controllable. This stuff needs to settle. And see here, even you are like running away and then running back and then running away and then running back. So it's like you do one thing and then your mind is trying to talk you out of it, and then you think one thing and your body's trying to do a different thing. And like, it's like, how on earth could you ever really have anything productive out of that? So the Fool is just, again, the liberation, you know, and I think you may be taking space away from people. You may be dealing with a person who enjoys taking your energy, who's a little bit naive and ignorant to what they're doing. They come in, they take what they want, and then they leave, and not even have any regard for what they left behind, like for the aftermath that they've left behind. And this might also be someone that kind of pushes responsibility back on you consistently. That's why the commitment to your star card, the commitment to your own liberation is so important. Commitment to be emotionally roller coastery free. To be free from your emotional roller coaster. That's kind of the aim. And I feel like the minute that you set that intention and you start moving forward, because we got the Strength card out right here. We have the number 8. We have the Eight of Cups. 8 is all about movement, and it does require courage, and it does require confidence. And I see you being incredibly confident here in getting from point A to point B. I see you feeling confident in your desire to really let this stuff release and fall out of your back. Because I know you're not interested in like playing a victim. And maybe maybe that's what this was, like a little blip of you catching yourself playing a victim, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want that. Because you're not that style. That's really not your vibe. You don't like to sit there and play the poor me, my life is so terrible game. So you rectify it. But see, it's almost as though the situation that's pushing you away is like they're pushing you away and pulling you in at the same time. Seven of Swords going both directions. I don't know why, I usually love the Fool card. I do. I usually get real good positive vibes from it. But I'm getting a real selfish quality from it right now, just intuitively. That this person just does what they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want, And for whatever reason, they just keep getting away with it. People keep forgiving them, and so they just keep doing it again and again and again and again. And this time, they push you away, or they reject you, or they fire you, or whatever, and then they're like, no, wait, come back. And hopefully, Scorpio, you are already so far down the road that this looks like a dot in the background, like a dot in the rearview mirror. And you just kind of leave the scuffle and all the scuttlebutt behind you. You leave the gossip behind you. You leave the love triangle behind you. This is what happens when Scorpio gets fed up. We know it takes a lot to push a Scorpio. Well, I mean, a mature Scorpio. You can handle a lot of pressure. An immature Scorpio fires off real fast. But a mature Scorpio or a highly evolved Scorpio, they can deal with a lot. So if you, I think my audience is mostly mature or highly evolved versions of their signs, right? So if you have this more mature quality and you get pushed to that level, it means it was probably really, really bad. That's what it means. It means it was probably really, really bad. And you deserve to not be there. So you're not participating in the rumor mill. You're probably not being super social, with the exception of the people that you respect. Now, this is someone who's likely older than you, a father, a colleague, a boss, a mentor, a coach, whatever. And I always say that this is someone that, you know, they have a harshness to them. Maybe you're also taking on a harshness with that armor underneath, heart on your sleeve. Like I said, it's kind of like you came out into the light, you were vulnerable for like a minute, and then boom, back into the darkness. And I think that this is you going into that shell or going underground and just kind of like letting everyone sort of tell on themselves and showcase their true colors while you're getting busy and making money and making your life happen. There's a lot of leadership in your own life. You stepping into the leadership role of things. It's not a month where Scorpio is just kind of being tossed and turned and at the whim of the universe right now, with the exception of the release of this. There's two storylines going on, right? This is the one where you're going to find the joy and the fulfillment. And this is the one that's not hard, right? The Hanged Man. You are in a state of suspension with this because you're being asked to let the universe turn you upside down. You're being asked because you're needing to see this from a whole different perspective. You need to. Because whatever happened was preparation for what's about to happen. That's the way life goes, right? So it's like, just let yourself get hung upside down. Let yourself get kind of hung out to dry, or do it to yourself. You know, that way no one really has power over you. If you say, okay, I'm ready, please do it, and then it kind of like hoists you up there, well, then it was your choice. And you're not a victim at all. You're like, yes, universe, please teach me. You know? And in the meantime, while I'm kind of hoisted up here, I'm going to do the things I love. I'm going to be with the people that I love. I'm going to smile. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to share good food. I'm going to be doing things that take me out of my troubles. And I see this is always a card of success in whatever we're asking about, right? So there's success in your work, okay? It takes you somewhere. High Priestess. So, a lot of togetherness and a lot of collaboration. Now, I love a Three of Coins because it's so creative. It's all about brainstorming, collaborating, working with new people. There is a quality of productive networking as well. If you do that kind of thing, you know, go out for cocktails with people in your industry nights, whatever, conventions, all that kind of stuff. That's real good stuff, real good stuff to be doing, because those are the things that can be applied to the Eight of Coins to make the Eight of Coins even more fun and more easy or easier. Ten of Coins is the wealth quality. Yes, there's money. It's like the material fulfillment and the emotional fulfillment coming together. So in spite of this, you still have this. And maybe you had it all along, and this is a month where you feel exceptionally grateful. Some of you, there might be a quality of returning home, which I feel like that was something that happened, I don't know if it was last year or earlier this year, but I remember that being a theme in one of your readings, like this quality of coming home. And there might be someone really safe in your life that you have had this whole time. This whole thing was the dangerous thing, and it didn't pan out, right? That's why the death card is coming, because it's shoving you into the new phase. But there was always a safety net, I think. You guys, these pages, I can't with the pages, because it's so like, that's it. Like with all this big stuff, and you're coming to me with this, like probably they're first gonna, try to dazzle you somehow, like with I always see it as like a distraction, right? Like let's say you have a big fight with someone and you don't hear from them for like a week, and then all of a sudden they say something like, hey, I have these concert tickets, do you want to go to this concert? And like there's no addressing of anything, it just kind of skims over. So I feel like that's good, like a no-go. And then they're gonna come and do the emotional bit. I'm sorry, they're gonna, it's not even that though. It's just like those little text messages like, I miss you. You're like, really? I haven't heard from you in like 5 weeks, or I don't know. I'm seeing it romantic because it's connected with the Lovers here, and it is the Cups, so I don't know. But the more balanced you are, which I think is what's happening, is you're coming into this equilibrium, the less this is going to phase you. This is actually going to open the door for you to say your truth, to speak your truth, and to stand in your authenticity, and to say like, hey, you know what, you really screwed up here, or I'm really tired of this, and I really would prefer if you just didn't ever contact me ever again, There's a lot of self-respect that comes through with the Lover's card. It is a card of Gemini. There is a quality of communication and intellect, logic. It's almost as though you're in this space of using someone else's logic against them. Because like, well, according to your logic, this, and this shouldn't have happened. Or this, and this could have happened. If your logic is right, there could be something like that. But I see you feeling empowered by it. It's almost as though as this fades or dwindles, you are like reaching out into the cosmos and channeling all of this life force, vital energy into your being, which then propels you into this chariot mode, just like vroom. And you step into your, see now, I actually really, really like Leo season for Scorpio. Did I say this already? Maybe I'm repeating myself. But I love Leo season for Scorpio, because I almost feel like the only people that really belong on the throne next to Leo is Scorpio and Capricorn. Like they're kind of the only ones that have that power thing to them. I mean, every sign has its own quality of power, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I mean. It's just like you go for it, it's ambitious, and it comes from so deep within. So deep. And so I do think that you're coming out as fire and water both. They always say that Scorpio is like the fire of water, right? You come out as both. You are, with your ruling planet Mars and Leo, like you're behaving a lot like a Leo. And that's doing you good things because it's giving you that ability to truly articulate what you're wanting, right? Communication, logic, all that. Your mind is super clear. And I suspect that by the end of the month, you're really not going to have a lot of questions. You're not going to be second guessing everything. You're not going to be in that space of wondering because you're too busy going. You're too busy being carried by the chariot. Like, I don't know that you're necessarily driving the chariot. You're like a passenger. The Pharaoh here is more like your higher self. Your higher self is in the driver's seat and you're like just kind of along for the ride. So enjoy it. Now we have the other chariot card, which is a breakage from the past. Okay, sorry, that was FedEx. So with this chariot card, you're breaking, because I don't think that you're able to really see the future that maybe you used to be able to see with the situation, right? Like the future that you were envisioning and the outcome that you were envisioning is becoming more and more hazy. And you open up this channel of enthusiasm and optimism, which the star, I did say that about the star, hopefully, if I remember correctly, which the star was really pointing you towards. So here's the kind of the initial taste of it, and here's you actually doing it. Feeling the optimism toward where this is all going, feeling excited, and feeling like you like, it's just that quality of so much faith in the higher intelligence that you know that this happened for a reason. Even if you don't see the reason right now, you know you will see the reason. Because I always see this as being a 10,000 foot perspective, right? Being really high up on the mountain, really close to the clouds, and being able to look down to earth and see the whole thing. But you can't really see the details of everything, and maybe that's not really what you need. Maybe you don't need the details. Maybe actually the more vague everything is and the fewer answers you have, the better. Because then you can't really break it apart. You know, it's just the whole picture and that's it. And it's because of that that you're like, all right, well, this whole picture isn't really for me. So if it is a romantic situation for you, if you're if you're not up in the clouds like this looking down, and you're in kind of the midst of the whole thing, then you have that opportunity to pick things and be like, well, this was a really good thing, and this was a really good thing, and oh, they were so sweet today, and like, oh no, I didn't really like that today, but but they did this last week, and you have that ability to just like pluck out the details. But when you look at it from so high, you get almost like a kind of like seeing like a timeline, and every time there was something positive, it gets like yellow, and every time it was something negative, it gets like a brown mark or something, right? So how much positive versus how much negative on this chart do you really see? And that's what he's looking at. Like, you see maybe a lot more of that dark negative color than the bright yellow or green or whatever color makes you happy, right? Whatever color you associate with that. And I suspect that there was a little bit more of the negativity than the positivity. And that's all you need to know. So 7 of Coins, King of Coins, powerhouse, you're really stepping into that king energy, stepping into the ownership of self, stepping into self accountability. Did I say that word already? His Mercury retrograde is seriously kicking my butt. But there's again that calm, cool, collected nature about everything. The good thing that I like about the ultimate ending, even though there's a quality of maybe a little bit of sloppiness, or losing a little control there, is that there's no regret. And ultimately, you snap it back to the self-empowerment and the self-respect. Like, we're dealing with self-respecting Scorpios here. And you snap it back to that real fast. I don't even really know what else to say. You find your footing. You find your gold. You let life grow. Again, the coins are methodical. You're going to be in a state of suspension for a while anyway. You might as well enjoy it. And I think you do, right? Because when you follow your gut, you follow your moon instinct, you do find the pleasure in your day-to-day life. You find pleasure in your cup of coffee. You find pleasure in spending time with your kids. You find pleasure in doing the dishes and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's what Scorpio really kind of needs for themselves. Scorpios that ignore that part of themselves, they're going to enter Virgo season. It's going to be a real harsh wake-up call, and there's going to be a lot of self-directed self-criticism, which is going to, it could backfire. So enjoy that stuff now, so that when we enter Virgo season, it's more productive. Okay, you actually tap into the Energizer Bunny, which you're so good at. So Five of Swords, again, if you want to get to the Wheel of Fortune, you got to leave it behind. It's there, it's waiting for you, it's primed, but the decision has to happen. This wheel only turns over as you make changes. It can't turn if you keep everything the same. Here's your self-respect for this never-ending story, right? Are you going to allow this story to continue to be never-ending? My guess is no. Okay? Oh, big reading, you guys, but I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have an excellent Leo season. Take care, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye.